Hello, everybody. Long time no see. Welcome back to episode 18 of the Serenial podcast. As always, I'm joined with Enigma. How you doing?
How's it going, man? Once again, yes, long time no see. It's been a while, like freaking
Yeah,
like a month or something like that. Damn.
it's been at least a month, but I don't know. I've been
Oh
busy. I'm
man.
sure you've been busy.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's nice to see you back. For real.
Yeah, likewise. It's good to know that, we can take a break and it's not, RIP.
Yes, seriously.
But I don't know what I don't know what it is about quitting caffeine that makes me want to tell everybody. But I gave it up 6 weeks ago or so, and it's been rough. But I'm starting to come around a bit.
Oh man, I feel you. I never really got into caffeine myself,
Good,
like coffee or anything like that.
good.
I feel like I would get addicted and then
Yeah.
having to quit. I don't want to deal with it.
This is the hardest thing I have ever quit in my life. I've never smoked cigarettes or anything. I guess that's a complete nightmare. But I think caffeine's the closest thing to that I could experience, because I hear that if you have a caffeine, or I'm sorry, if you have a. But I'm starting to come around a bit. Let me just make sure I. Okay, good. Because I hear with a cigarette addiction, you always still kind of want it, and I'm finding that's the case with caffeine. Every so often, I'm I just want a cup of coffee because it's delicious. Anything
I
else
could
I've
imagine,
ever,
man.
anything else I've tried to kick after a couple of days, it's okay, I'm good. But this, it's kind of like a constantly nagging, oh, come on, just have it. You have a cherry Coke in the fridge, because I bought a cherry Coke the day I gave up the last thing of caffeine I drank on the way home from I went golfing. On the way home from that, I bought a can of cherry Coke because I'm oh, I'll drink this, and then I ended up giving it up. So it's in there taunting me.
You gotta give it. You gotta give it rid of it. Give it to somebody. Give it to your cat. Give it to a dog. Give
Yeah,
it. Give it to a neighbor.
Cherry cola.
It's like, oh, I can't drink this. Oh, take it.
Well, what I told myself is come my birthday's not until October. I'm thinking I'm gonna have a nice cup of coffee on my birthday, and just reassess, because maybe I'll drink that and be what have I done? What have I done these months where I didn't drink caffeine? Because I definitely noticed a difference in my energy levels with at first it was awful, the crashes I would have, but now it's kind of evened out. But there's still some days where I just want to sleep. But I think over time I'll eventually adjust.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think I never really tried I mean,
Good.
only what level is in what, maybe tea, maybe.
Okay.
So not
some
much.
tea even not even all tea has caffeine.
I never drank coffee in my life, ever. I feel like, or I used to drink soda, but I quit that years ago. So yeah.
I find coffee was an acquired taste. I never liked it, but I forced myself to like it because I figured I would need it at some point. I did. Some of the schedule work I did, I needed the coffee, but now I'm kind of in a situation where I thought that getting off the coffee would, it would be stressful to my system, but it wouldn't, negatively impact every other facet of my life. So,
Hey man, any addiction,
yeah,
even ones that might seem less harmful, which some are to varying degrees,
right.
but any addiction can have at least a little bit of a negative effect on you. When it's preventing you from doing other stuff. But
Well,
if it's preventing you from living, or doing your job, but
I just found I was I shouldn't have to rely on it. Sometimes I like to give up, this, that, or the other thing, just to be okay, I'm the one in control here, not this thing.
No, definitely.
It's to be oh, I love meat, but I'll go vegetarian for a month just because, I don't know, maybe I'll feel great. Spoiler alert,
no,
I did for a bit, but after 2 weeks, I'm I want to eat meat again.
Oh, I bet, man. I can't imagine. You don't want any other substance in control of you over your mind. You got to have that mental,
Right.
Fortitude. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that was kind of a side effect to giving up the caffeine I didn't expect, where I found that in my day-to-day life, I'm more just kind of I don't know how to put it. Like, there's more of a, I have more of like a genuine curiosity with like small talk in my like normally in my day-to-day life, I will do anything to avoid small talk. But now I'm just kind of like, oh, so like, how are the wife and kids? You know, which I just never like, but it's just a side effect I didn't expect, but I like it.
It's made you more talkative. I mean,
Yeah,
that's ironic,
enough.
actually.
Yeah, I would have thought it'd been the
crazy.
opposite. But like,
maybe it's
I think
it's making you like less anxious, maybe, and more like relaxed because you're not so like you're less hyper, maybe in a way.
Yeah, like I'm not as high strung, so I'm not like overthinking stuff. So I'm just like, oh, here's a person. Hey, what's up? It's just I don't know. I like it though. It's nice just being able to just kind of chat and not be stressed out about it with just whoever. Just be.
Oh, definitely. Feeling anxious sucks.
Yeah.
I deal with that way too often. It's not fun at all.
Like had I known it was going to have that kind of effect on me, I would have tried to give it up years ago, but you never know. But that's what I've been up to.
What have you been up to with the videos? I mean, your channel rather.
I just started streaming again like 2 weeks ago. I wasn't like I was streaming a little bit. Like I was streaming for like an hour, 1 hour twice a week, which is like nothing compared to my normal schedule. But like I'm back to more my regular schedule. And what was I just doing? I just finished playing the Kakarot DLC, the new DLC that came out for it like a few months back. The Trunks Warrior of Hope. It was good.
Oh, yeah, I heard something about Dragon Ball DLC. I still haven't played the game yet myself. My friend told me it was pretty good.
Yeah, like if you're a Dragon Ball fan, I'm sure you'd enjoy it. Like it feels. I hate using the word abridged because of Dragon Ball Z abridged, but it's if you're looking for a reason to experience an abridged version of the story, it's a great way to do that.
Oh no, I bet. I mean, I remember I used to play Budokai 1, 2, and 3, I think, for the PS2. So I definitely remember how they would go. Gotcha. You know, it was always fun. More so as a kid. I mean, because I was still actively watching Dragon Ball Z at the time too.
Right.
You know, so it was cool.
What's up, Ray Unit? Well, yeah, that's the important thing. Like, I mean, I get the video game addiction thing, but yeah, so. If your addiction's getting in the way of, you know, your everyday life, like paying bills or whatever, then that's a problem.
No, definitely. I mean, I remember having a conversation about addiction. Like it was kind of random. I feel like with a friend like a while ago, and I was just like, I don't have an addiction, but the closest thing would be video gaming, I guess. When I just thought about something I do like pretty much every day of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, oh, well, video gaming. But then I'm like, I consider that a hobby because,
right.
You know, it never, as an adult at least, it never really affected me from doing what I needed to do. As a kid, it kind of did, you know, but that's kind of like, it kind of just happens, you know.
Beast,
like you skip school to play in your PlayStation. It's like, well, yeah, you're 15, you know, or whatever. But yeah, you just got to be strong and don't let it overcome what you actually need to do. You know what I mean? Then it's a detriment. But speaking of video games, something was announced recently while we were gone. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. We missed quite the news cycle.
A Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Valve is getting into
a portable
making
Steam
a portable
machine? That's crazy.
I'm
PC
I was really at a loss for words.
That's going to be gangbusters.
Ooh, they're going to probably the same stuff with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox. I feel like that same thing is going to happen where you just won't be able to find one.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I would even be interested in getting one. Maybe not yet, because, you know, I know it's probably going to be hard to find. But later on down the line, once I see how the reviews are, I could imagine myself really getting one.
And I'm curious, you know? If I haven't looked into the full spectrum of specs for the system yet, but I wonder what kind of, like, streaming capabilities there might be with it.
I wonder, because they said it's going to basically kind of work like it's basically going to have, like, a version of, like, Windows, I think, on it. Like, so it'll kind of run like a PC?
It'll have
something like that.
I'm sorry. I know what you mean, like Windows, like an operating system. Like that.
Yeah, it's going to have an operating system so like you can do other stuff on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how... That's how it was described when I read this article about it. But I mean, I don't know if that was, all confirmed or not. Some stuff is just rumors. It's hard to tell the real from the fake when it's not directly from the company. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see how this is going to affect the video gaming market, especially like the handheld division. The Switch being a hybrid, that's considered handheld in some way. I mean, the Vita, unfortunately, not been continued, but I mean, and then the mobile market, a lot of people play on their phones, but
oh my god, the mobile market is, I can't even think of the proper word to describe how indescribably huge it is.
I think some people were switched from playing on mobile. They're switched from their tablet or phone. They're probably switched to the Steam Deck, honestly, because it's probably going to have, since it's a dedicated machine, I can't imagine it not running mostly every game better.
I would hope so.
If it doesn't, then
screwed up.
We got to see what I read a while back about the specifications it has, like the hardware in it. Like I just pulled it up again right now.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna read it off. I don't know if it's been confirmed. It probably has, but this was just posted like a week ago. It says it's gonna have like I don't know. It basically 16 gigabytes LPDDR5 RAM. That's
like crazy,
as much,
isn't it? 16.
My PC is at 6.
I don't have that much.
My PC is at 16. That's
well, like
nuts.
I have 16, but it's like either DDR3 or 4, not 5.
Yeah, I think mine is DDR4. I think because I got this PC some years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't imagine how fast it's going to run. Unfortunately, the storage I feel like is going to be the issue.
I was gonna say, like, it seems like they kind of like they're gonna have a few
different
storage options, but even like the high end one is not a lot. It's like what, 128 gig.
It says the prices are $399, like all USD, for 64 gigabytes, $529 for 256 gigabytes, and $649 for 512 gigabytes. So that's pretty expensive, and that's one of the main things, honestly, keeping my expectations like a bit lowered because keeping me from reaching out to get one because that's more at $529. That's more than the PS5 was. I mean, that's kind of nuts.
And like,
if it had more space, because these PC games aren't exactly the smallest games,
Because like, unless you're just crazy about playing smallish indie titles on it, like then you'd be okay. But if you play like Call of Duty kind of stuff, like big games,
if you're gonna play like God of War is God of War on PC yet?
I have no idea.
But like games to that magnitude, Assassin's Creed.
Sure.
If you're playing Assassin's Creed, that's going to take up like half the Steam Deck. You know what I mean?
Right. How long is it going to take to
nuts.
Download onto it? And then if you want to play something else, you'd have to delete it. Sounds like a nightmare. But like that's the only part that I think needs some kind of rework, or at least an easy enough way where it's like, hey, just put in this SD card or our proprietary crap storage or whatever.
It says they will let you increase the space within micro SD card, which I'm glad because if it's not like PlayStation where they had like proprietary memory cards and all that stuff. That was expensive. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, as long as you can put an SD card in, I'd get like how big do micro SD cards go? Like a terabyte or two, I think. I forgot. But I think 1 terabyte, something like that.
How you doing, Fit? I'm sorry, he was just saying my audio was low. For an SD card, terabyte?
I think that's the max that micro SD cards go. Okay. But I'd take a terabyte that'd be enough.
If you had that on top of what storage it came with already, that'd be
pretty good.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see the max right now. From what I'm reading, it says 2 terabytes.
Oh, goodness.
I think. That's not too bad.
No,
I'll take it at more than the PlayStation 5.
I mean, you could have a couple dozen like pretty big games for that. So, like, how much do you need to be carrying around on it at any given time? Like, really? Even go up further. I have it maxed out now. The only thing I can do is just eat the microphone, which I can do.
You raise the volume up on Discord.
I just did it in like OBS or whatever. I don't know if raising it in Discord would matter. Let me try.
Yeah, it should. I mean, I raised mine a while back, raised it up, and then I think that helped. Unless it's too loud, then I can lower it. But
yeah,
messing with settings is all the part of the technical difficulties.
I'll fix it. Is that better? I might not even be using the correct microphone. No, I am. All right, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. If that helped.
Oh yeah, that happened before with your microphone. I remember.
Yeah.
You might have to change the which one it's using. I don't know why it does that. Oh, I should make sure mine is not using the wrong one either.
No, I guess my input volume's all the way up. But it might be good now, though. Closer. Hi, Speedy.
Oh, look at that.
Speedy's just being all affectionate, like he does. Good, okay, cool.
The unofficial third member.
Yeah. Fade with the sound check, thank you. It didn't even occur to me to test that beforehand.
Mic check, mic check.
When I do a stream, I'm so used to all my settings being the exact same, so I'm like, I'm good. But I should give it another once over. Especially if I'm unplugging, this, that, and the other thing. Sometimes it can mess with stuff.
You have to change the settings back to something else to make sure.
But do they even have, for the Steam Deck, going back to the Steam Deck, do they have, any sort of tentative release date for that? Or they're just kind of making it? Do you know?
Sounds good on my end.
Sorry?
I said it sounds good on my end. Did you fixed it?
Yeah, no, I think the audio is good. For the Steam Deck, do you know when that's supposed to be coming out?
I believe they said they already let you start doing orders. But
I heard about that. I guess the pre-orders aren't too expensive.
It's supposed to start shipping in December. So, sometime in January, February, probably you'll be getting them. They said they should be actually arrived by Q1, I think 2022, around there.
It's all right.
There's a lot of orders, maybe even Q2 actually. But pre-orders are already up, and I think they already I feel like they maxed out, sold out already.
I'm not
maybe
surprised.
From the bots scalpers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Did you know that you actually had to pay you had to pay a fee to even pre-order it? I think they required it. What was it? You had to pay $5
something
to pre-order it. I was like, what? I had to pay the pre-order product too? It's just a random thing, I guess. Maybe to stop
Was it a scalper deterrent somehow?
Probably, yeah, to stop scalpers from buying up a whole bunch of them. You know what I mean? When you just have no limitations. But I feel like making people spend money to pre-order it, I think that was the wrong kind of barrier to be putting, honestly.
Well, I think $5 is the wrong barrier. If you want to put in a monetary barrier, I think you would want more than $5. Because if a scalper's going to scalp, it's I'll get 100 of them. That's $500, but then I'm going to sell each one for $1,000. So what's $5 or 500?
Yeah.
If you're going to scalp that
that's the thing. I mean, I don't think it's going to stop them if they're still going to profit. If anything, it's stopping people. Well, I don't know. I feel like also the other requirement I think is that you have to already have had a Steam account or something like that for a certain amount of time, something like that. And I was just all right. I mean, that's fair. I think
that should help a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard though with this whole. I've never seen it to this extent of people getting this whole scalping thing.
No.
I've never seen it this big before. It's nuts.
No. Well, it's it's COVID for you. It's people are well, I can't work, so I guess I'm just going to scalp systems.
I mean, I
get it. I don't like it.
Their ingenuity.
I don't like it, but I understand the thought process.
Oh, definitely. That's some people quit their job to be professional scalpers on PlayStation and Xboxes, it feels like.
And then you get people doing the Pokemon card scalping and
Oh my god, people are out there like robbing each other for Pokemon cards and stuff like
grown ass men. It's not even like kids. It's people
and
like
it's not,
my age.
like, usually it's like, give me your wallet, like, give me your phone. And it's like, give me your Pokemon cards.
You
like,
have a shiny
I'm sorry.
Snorlax. Give it to me.
Like, can you imagine robbing little kids for their Pokemon cards? Like, that is the most evil thing I've read.
Really, though.
What the hell? Like, what is this? The schoolyard bully?
Yeah.
What the hell? Oh man. But no, would you get I don't really use Steam, honestly, because I'm not much of a PC gamer.
Yeah.
But would you get one? I mean,
I probably,
I don't know.
I don't know if I would get one. Like, I do use Steam, but, like, not overly often. Like, occasionally, it's just easier for me to stream a game through Steam than through, like, whatever else. Or,
Seriously,
me. Or, like, in the case of when I was playing Mega Man with a Guitar Hero controller, it was just mechanically easier to do that through Steam. Because I couldn't do it. Excuse me, Jesus. I couldn't do it through, like, PS4 or anything like that. And, like, it's got USB plug-in, so, like, recognizes the input or whatever. So, like, it has its utility for me, but for me to get an actual, like, Steam Deck, probably not. I'm not on the go enough. Like, if I'm going to use Steam, I'll just use my computer. But if it's actually,
I feel like it would be useful.
But if it's actually like a decent like PC, like if it's a decent portable PC, that might actually be like useful for just day-to-day stuff rather than like strictly as a gaming rig.
I feel like it could have looked a little bit better. Like, did you see like the pictures of it and whatnot yet?
It's just kind of like a gray block, isn't it?
Kind of looks like, I don't know, what was it? It was one of those older handhelds. I'm trying to remember exactly what it's called. I don't want to misname it. Kind of looked like.
Let me pull it up.
One of those Sega. I'm trying to think.
Steam Deck. Let me take a look at it.
It kind of looks like one of those old Sega handhelds, like the Vico Gear. I feel like.
I get what you're saying.
Like that. Or
it's
the
got
Game
that kind of
Gear
color scheme to it.
Yeah, the directional pad and like has like a little analog stick.
Yeah, and then they have like the mouse pad thing on it too.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder how it's gonna work exactly. Like, my thing is, I would use it. For me, it's gonna matter mostly on how the controls work more so. I mean, besides the price, it's the controls, how it's gonna control the games and everything like that. If the controls are like clunky to use on like while you're gaming, then I'm not interested.
Right,
like,
be dead on arrival if that happens.
It has to be comfortable.
I'm curious if they're gonna. I'm curious if they'll have any sort of like controller. Like if you'd be able to plug in like a Steam controller into it somehow, if you would prefer. I don't know if you would want to, but like I wonder.
I mean, I feel like that takes away from the handheldness of it, though.
Yeah. So
like the Switch, I like the Switch, but it's not the most for me. It's not the most intuitive thing to use. Sometimes I'm not like accustomed still to using it. Like I like the PSP handheld, the PSP, the PS Vita. I feel like the PlayStation handhelds were like my favorites, like the controls setup wise and everything like that. I feel like
they're not as bulky, are they? As the Switch?
PlayStation?
Yeah, like either the PSP or the Vita.
No, they're much freaking smaller. I don't have it on me right now, but definitely much smaller than the Switch. The Switch is basically like a really high-powered tablet, I guess, with like two things on it, and it's kind of like it's not that fun. It's not that like great to use.
Yeah, it's not as portable.
It's not good games on it, though.
Like I mean, the Switch Lite is a little better. Like if you have a big time pocket, that can fit. But like
the Switch Lite is smaller, so that's nice size. I put my Switch like in my back pocket, but it'll hang out like this much to where it'll fall. Like my Switch has fallen out of my pocket before because it's so damn like freaking wide, and don't like that.
No, well, there's one wrong fall in concrete, and there goes your screen,
and it's gone. I guess I could always take the Joy-Cons off and then shove like the tablet into my pocket.
I guess,
then it'll fit much better. It's just that's tedious because you gotta click and then freaking keep putting them back on. And the Joy-Cons are very liable to break, honestly.
Right.
But it all depends on how well the controllers are going to work for it, like how freaking fun it'll be and simple it will to get into the actual controlling the games itself.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the Switch, the Switch OLED was also announced. What's your thoughts on that? Do you care?
I think having an OLED screen on it is something that they should have done already. I feel like I'm surprised it's 4 years later and they're finally doing it. I mean, the Vita, the original Vita, like the model I have, has a screen like that, and it's beautiful. You know what I mean? Compared to like what's the one that the second generation Switch does? I think it's just an LED screen rather than OLED.
I'm not even sure about that.
Let me see.
I mean, I guess I've never used anything that has like an OLED screen, but I guess like the blacks are like really like vibrant because it's like the pixels off, so it, like really like stands out. But like I'm not gonna I already have a Switch. I'm not gonna buy an OLED just to have it if I already have a perfectly functioning Switch.
No, the 2000 Vita, the main difference is that it has an LCD screen instead, really. So it just doesn't like games just don't look as nice and like beautiful and vibrant and whatnot as the original model. That's one of the main differences between them. The Switch has an LCD screen too, right?
I'm not even.
But
sure.
now it's gonna have. No, I think it is LCD. I still don't exactly know what the two differences is like technically. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I know that one definitely looks better most of the time than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I mean, and that's what really matters to me. Like how good the movies or the games or whatever I'm looking at is gonna be. But I would get a Switch to have one. I have their.
Right.
I still have like the original model. That's before they improved the battery life or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I got mine in like 2018. Then in 2019 they released a improved battery version, and they released the Switch Lite in 2019 as well.
Right.
So now in 2021 they're releasing a Switch like OLED, and I'm like, I forgot when it's supposed to come out. Like real soon, right? Let me see.
I thought it was out already, but I have no idea.
I don't know the new model.
It might not be. I just heard about it. I'm like, it must be out, but I don't really care about it, so I just sort of didn't think about it.
Okay, I found it. Release date, it says, is October 8th. I knew it was going to be out like
right around
soon.
the corner.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But it's also, what do you think about it being more expensive than the original Switch? It's going to be $350 instead of $300 USD.
Well, it's like, is it really $50 more graphically impressive? Like, if the answer is yes, then I guess it's okay, but like I would think you would rather have a lower price point than a more expensive model.
I feel like it should have been the same price because the original Switch came out 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So when you count inflation and all that other stuff, I don't see how they're going to also increase the price of it as well. I don't think that was really the smartest move. But maybe they're looking at it because the Switch has been selling like hotcakes. Maybe they're taking advantage of the fact that, like, hey, why not increase the price a little bit while we're at it? They're still going to buy it.
Leave it to Nintendo.
It's like, pretty much. They don't like to put their stuff on sale.
No, never.
But I would get it if I didn't already have one because some of them, the screen size is actually
it's a little bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be slightly different, actually. Let me see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but like I wouldn't get one unless I didn't if I didn't have a Switch yet, I might bother. Like if I'm going to spend enough on a Switch, it's like I may as well get the most up to date one. But
the new Switch, like the OLED, isn't going to have like the bezel apparently, like this whole like.
Oh yeah, okay.
This whole side that's just like not a screen, not part of the actual like screen.
Right. It'll be screen.
Yeah, so that's going to give it like not like another inch. Like I don't know, it's going to be like another half inch.
Yeah, it'll be you know
what I mean.
Barely.
So that's
larger.
Pretty cool. It's gonna if you could put them side by side, you'll notice the difference. But I feel like otherwise, it's going to be like who's really noticing like half an inch. You know what I mean?
Right.
On their screen, but also It's just gonna look better, but the resolution is still gonna be the same. And a lot of people, especially nowadays, really care about resolution. It's still gonna be 720 when you're playing handheld, and then I think 1080 when you're playing like docked or whatever, right? 1080. And also the dock is going to be changed as well. That's one of the other big differences.
That could be problematic.
It's gonna have I don't know if it's gonna work with the old switches. I assume they will make it work for both.
Should.
But it's making it it's gonna be like a new color and all that stuff, and it's gonna have a I just read it. It's gonna be compatible with both. But apparently, oh wow, they're replacing this one's gonna have an Ethernet port rather than they're gonna remove one of the USB ports, like the original, and then put an Ethernet port instead. So this should make so that means you should be able to download games a lot quicker now, huh? In updates,
I suppose if you had a wired connection,
that's pretty cool.
That would make sense.
Definitely, because I mean, I have I have a bunch of Ethernet cables, so if I wanted to download, I can't plug it into my dock because it doesn't have one. But if I had a new one, I could use it for downloading games. But how would that work? Wait, so I guess the Switch would have to be docked to use the actual wired connection or whatever.
I would think so, but
that's weird. It's confusing, but I mean that would be helpful for people that play with it docked. You know what I mean?
Right. And if you don't have the greatest internet connection, but where having it wired would be would make a big difference.
Wow, that was funny. Oops.
What happened?
Just completely clicked the wrong button and it made me leave. I'm back,
I saw I was talking to nobody for a second, but
man, technical difficulties. But no, I'm glad. That kind of makes me want to really make me. I can't. It's not enough. It would be enough if I had to pick from the old model and the new one.
Right.
But if I already have the old model, it's not enough to justify spending another $350.
No.
But
if you could somehow find someone. Well, that's the thing. You wouldn't be able to sell your current Switch at a price that would make sense to upgrade to the OLED.
Yeah, probably not. But if I could, then I would. Because also another change apparently is the new model. Instead of that little kickstand, instead of the kickstand, it's supposed to have
no
an
idea
actual
that existed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, the kickstand for when you're watching something on the Switch.
My Switch is right here.
I never use it because I always just.
I had no idea that was there. That would have come in handy at some point.
I don't use it because I don't watch stuff. I only play with my Switch when I'm on the rare occasion I'm in the car and someone else is driving instead of me. Then I use it, or if I'm in bed and I don't feel like being on my PlayStation, then I'll be on my Switch. But that's not very often. I don't really sit it down and watch. If I'm watching something, it's on my phone.
Yeah.
But for people that actually pop up does this have Netflix? Yeah, I think it has Netflix and YouTube. For people that want to sit this down and just watch stuff, that kickstand can come in handy. But it's not the strongest, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems.
But now the new model. Yeah, the new model is supposed to apparently have a instead of just a little kickstand, it's gonna have a whole thing that you could that'll lean on. Up. Yeah, a whole thing that covers the whole frame of it, so you can just lie it down like that instead of just a little tiny piece that lies on.
Yeah, on the corner.
So that's gonna be pretty. Yeah, I think that's too easily breakable. My phone case has that, and I feel like mine already kind of broke.
Right.
Supporting too much weight.
There's been the odd time where I would have used that had I realized it, because every so often, playing the Switch, I would want to use the, I would want to have it undocked, but I would still want to use, my Switch Pro controller. So, sometimes it could have been useful for that, but, that's pretty rare. I think I was trying to play Punch-Out, the original Punch-Out on the Switch, and trying to play that while it was docked is virtually impossible with the delay.
Yeah, man.
Because Mike
Also-
Tyson, you need that reaction time, or else you're guessing.
Also, it's going to have the improved battery life that like the 2019 model had. It's going to still have that improved battery life as well. But I mean, with this new screen, I don't know if it's going to really like play out to be the same like duration.
Right, because you know, like, depending on the screen uses more power than.
Yeah, like some types of screens use more like power than the other ones, but hopefully it's going to have better battery life. The one reason I don't use this often is if I put this on a plane, it'll battery be dead before I land. Like it's just annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, unless you have a charger on you at all times and a place to plug it in, then it's fine. But no, I would look forward to it. For anyone that doesn't have a Switch, just based on the differences that, you know, I've looked into and all that stuff, I definitely would recommend it if you didn't have one yet, because they've been out of stock like on and off like since it released. It's kind of nuts, you know.
And like I imagine that the new Metroid that's coming out would be absolutely gorgeous on that OLED screen.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, I wish I could. Damn.
Like it looks sharp as it is, but I imagine with the OLED screen it would be, you know, the icing on the cake. I'm gonna be watching people play that. I probably won't dive into it myself immediately. My, you know, quote unquote one Nintendo game for the year is gonna be the Mario Party re-release thing that I'm dying to play that online.
Oh no, definitely. That's a game I have to look into. But this Metroid one, I definitely want to get. I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Like I found out that Metroid Dread is actually going to have a collector's edition, and I didn't know this until one of the YouTubers I follow on Twitter.
Collector's editions?
I don't think so.
I don't know. One off the top of my head.
I don't have any from Nintendo. All of mine are from freaking like PlayStation games.
Yeah.
Honestly,
oh, PlayStation. It's like all over the place.
Yeah, it's like their bread and butter sometimes. But one of the YouTubers I follow on Twitter, like I happened to be scrolling down the timeline randomly one night or whatever, and I saw he had made a tweet about like not being able to find the Metroid Dread limited edition or whatever. Okay. And then I was like, I responded to him, and I was like, I didn't know they had one. Like, he's like, yeah, they're all sold out. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna check, and I checked my store, like Best Buy or whatever, and it was like sold out or whatever. And I was just like, and he basically was saying that like all the scalpers basically got to it already, and I'm just like, freaking scalpers, man, they're everywhere. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's irritating.
It's never been this bad.
I don't know. It also says that it's going to have better audio, which I'm like, I didn't hear about that one myself.
No, me neither.
But it says it's going to have better speakers than the original one.
All right. I mean, if I'm playing
hell,
portable,
any improvement,
I don't generally care so much, but like if you can improve the audio, like why not?
I mean, hell, unless the game has like a really good soundtrack, I don't typically really listen to game audio like I used to. You know, like
yeah, I get that.
I just turn it down and listen to something else, or half the time I'm in a conversation while I'm playing, so I just lower the volume anyway.
Like unless I'm streaming,
I said, the audio is really good.
I'll generally like listen to something else.
Yeah, I listen to like a podcast. The game has
like a banger soundtrack.
Definitely. But also the storage is another difference. This one's going to have 64 gigabytes of internal storage rather than the 32, which is double. Definitely freaking useful.
I'm
I
think they could have probably
32 was ridiculous.
Nudged it a bit more than that, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean 128, you know, but I doubt they would make it that high. Because Switch games aren't like as big as like the PlayStation or Xbox games, so you don't need as much space. Like I have the 32 or whatever it came with, and then I have like a 64 or something like that gigabyte in here, and I'm not even close to filling it. All my games are 90% of my games are physical. So like I have like 2 games digitally maybe on my Switch, so I'm not really going to fill it up anytime soon, I'm pretty sure.
So I forget, you can just use regular SD cards on the Switch, can you?
Yeah, on the Switch you can just use a regular SD card, so it's much better. That's probably one of the reasons it sold so well, you know? I mean, just pop an SD card in, you know? I have a whole, you know, like, same thing for the phone.
Hey, Alexis, what's up? Yeah, they,
you know what I mean?
Stuff like that should be more Like, I don't think that did the Vita any favors, having proprietary storage.
No, definitely not at all. Like, honestly. Yo, Alexis was good. Welcome to the podcast. And no, it didn't. That's one of the main issues that people cite whenever they're talking about, like, oh, the Vita could have been so much better. They point to proprietary storage. You know, I even wrote a blog post like years ago about what I feel the Vita, or how I feel about the Vita and whatnot. And that's one of the things I mentioned when I was writing it. I'm like, storage, man, freaking storage. That's so important as we move closer and closer into a all digital like landscape when it comes to gaming, music, and movies and television. Much to my distaste, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's societal. That's how it's going.
Yeah. I think
so
they should.
Very important to have like SD cards
rather than having like proprietary SD cards. They should have just released their own brand of SD card if that was like the angle they wanted to take. Because then they could still get some sales like, from an SD card, but then you could use whatever. But like,
exactly. But I mean, I guess it was to try to prevent like hacking and like. They didn't want people to hack into their stuff and do all this nonsense, but people did it anyway.
Find out anyway. Yeah, exactly. It's all for
like they didn't really stop much except stop the sales of it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Or like.
But I mean, if they ever release another portable system, then maybe they'll have learned their lesson with that.
Hey, it's ridiculous. I heard they might release one with a. I heard that they might. That was another rumor. After the Steam Deck and the Switch, like OLED, got announced, I read a rumor about a new PlayStation handheld or kind of hybrid kind of thing. Also, that would be in competition with the Steam Deck and the Switch,
that'd be
which
pretty
is actually
wild
pretty interesting.
If the handheld console market kind of started growing like that, because normally it's just like mobile phones and like Nintendo kind of dominating the market, but then we get the Steam Deck, and if we get PlayStation back in the mix again, that could be interesting. Because as far as I understand it, Microsoft has zero interest in handhelds.
Yeah, from what I've read, like they kind of looked at Nintendo and looked at PlayStation like the number ones and twos, and they were kind of like, no, we're gonna stick to PCs and consoles. All right, cool.
I think that's the right move for Microsoft to make.
Oh, definitely. If they made a handheld, I don't know. I honestly don't know who the freaking hell would get it or what they would even put on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I find that fascinating how like Switch emulation, like I haven't used it yet personally, but like that it's already like good. Like I'm impressed by that.
Really? It's making leaps and bounds lately. It's crazy how well it runs some games. I'm a little bit surprised, actually. I mean, the freaking... Is there even, like, a PS3 and PS4 emulators that run, like, well yet? You know?
Well, I don't know. There's definitely PS3 emulators, but I don't know how good they are. Anything...
Because with games being...
Like, I only ever emulated up to, I believe, GameCube. I don't think I've ever emulated anything beyond that. Maybe PS2. Maybe. I forget.
Exactly. I used to... The PS2 was... Like, this is years ago, like, when I had my old PC and whatnot, so it probably wasn't up to par for that. But the PS2 emulation was, like... They didn't have every, like... A lot of games didn't run at all or didn't really run very well. They were very, like, glitched or something like that. And granted, I could have had a better PC, which would have made a lot of a difference. But also on top of that, the games, it was so hard to actually find, places to download them. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
of course.
And then, of course, when you did, they would take so long to download because you'd be, you'd be limited on, the kind of download speed you could really get from that site itself. Like
big.
Bottlenecked or whatever.
Yeah, pretty big files, I would think.
Yeah, like PS2 and beyond, it's like too big of freaking files to really be trying to do that stuff, in my opinion. But, it kind of sucks for that purpose. But
I find it kind of funny how, like, Nintendo clearly hates emulation, but they Their systems seem to be among the easiest to emulate.
That's funny, actually, because the GameCube was definitely much better, easier, or whatever to run. I feel like than the PS2, and I never tried like bringing Xbox at all.
I did a GameCube emulator stream on my old PC, and it ran well enough. It would purr like a kitten on this new PC, I would think.
Cool. It's current, and the emulators are on for new releases. Really, like on the Switch, I'm very surprised. I mean, it's like almost disappointing considering how hard I feel like some companies try to fight this stuff, and they get to the point where I feel like they really do some things that are honestly quite anti-consumerist to try to prevent people from emulating and whatnot. And then people that are going to do that mostly just do it anyway. Right. So a lot of times it feels like you're just hurting the just a regular citizen or the average player, really, or a consumer. Kind of sucks.
Bear with me here.
I heard something about, I don't know if they're really going to jump back into the mobile industry, though. It's like, so far it looks like it's a rumor, but it seems like it's almost substantiated, really, because someone made an article, or probably a few people at this point now, talking about, PlayStation was looking to hire people in regards to like mobile gaming, like they have positions to be filled for that. So people were saying that kind of hints at a new handheld console. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that does seem possible. It just seems also very unlikely considering with the PlayStation Vita. I mean, production stopped for it a couple years ago already. At this point, it's been discontinued. So I don't know. If they do, we got to see how it works.
Yeah.
But it also, I heard that it might be the what's it called? They said it might be like a whole like streaming portable.
Oh.
Where it's gonna work like, I guess maybe with like kind of like how PS Now works, if you ever used it before.
I get what you're saying.
Where you're gonna stream. And if that's the case, I'm not really interested, honestly. I don't want a streaming handheld where I can't get physical media for it.
Right.
That would just kill it for me.
Like, I don't mind.
I have
games have digital download options, but completely removing physical media for a console, I don't like that.
It would be like like having the digital only PS5 basically, of course that was cheaper, but I decided not to get that one because I'm like, no, digital only. Yeah. Digital, at least for right now and the next like several years, in my opinion, digital should be an option in addition to physical, not
agreed
the only option, because we probably have like great internet available to us considering like where we live and like our options and whatnot. But I try to be considerate of people that are in, like third world countries who don't have it, or even in first world countries and just are in like area that just hasn't reached it yet,
Right.
Like, that's not really fair for them when they're like, some people have horrible internet connections. How are you supposed to download video games and movies as they get higher and higher in their resolution? It's only getting longer. I mean, the file size are only getting bigger, which in turn is going to make it take longer in order to download, And if you're streaming it and not even downloading it, then you need to have a constant connection to even play the damn thing.
Right.
Especially when it's like, 8 full HD or 4K or 8K is coming up next and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when you try to look into the advent of, a lot of people want to make videos on this stuff and they want to stream it. So, it should look pretty good as well, But I feel like it's really a lot, and they should allow physical media to be still a thing,
Oh, yeah. Whenever I get my PS5, I'm making sure that it has the physical disc slot in it. Even though my PS4, most of the games I just download it and forget about it. But, maybe someone just wants to get me a game as a gift. And they don't want to be
Exactly.
like, here's a PlayStation, card or whatever, if those even exist. Like, I'd rather, if I want the option for physical, I don't want it to be strictly digital. I'll pay the extra for the option.
More options, more choices. That's like when a company limits the options that their consumers have. Honestly, I consider that's one of the things I'm talking about when I consider things anti-consumerist.
Right.
It's limiting your choices, your options. And then when you compare it, like that should be borderline illegal, to be quite honest. I mean, monopolies are illegal. Like one company having the whole, for example, the whole handheld gaming. I feel like that should not be a thing. For example, Nintendo having like 90% of the market share. I don't think that's cool.
I mean,
but then you limit
I agree,
and you
but I don't feel
innovation.
like they're explicitly like squashing competition.
Well,
they're not
banning other people. Yeah, like they didn't ban anybody, like literally, but like you stifle creativity and people's options.
Agreed.
When you just like say, oh well, Nintendo's the only ones that have a handheld that's good, so yeah, you know what I mean. And it kind of does. It does kind of, keep other people from wanting to get into it because of that.
Right.
Like, oh well, they have it all, so
yeah, they're already.
It kind of like scares off the would-be competition.
Potential, yeah. But like Steam Deck's gonna be a big player.
Well, yeah, Valve is such a big company, I feel like, and PC gaming is really still big. It's never not. I mean, it's been huge for the past 20 freaking years, 25 years. I feel like. It was kind of a sleeper. I don't think that's just going away.
Huge for a while, but PC gaming is truly massive. Like, just look at the Steam library. Yeah.
Oh, the Steam library. The only things aren't it's funny because the only games that really aren't on Steam, I feel like, are mostly on Nintendo.
Pretty well.
So now that that Steam or Valve is coming into the handheld market, rather.
Right.
Now it's kind of like it's a big screw you to Sony. It's a big screw you to Nintendo.
Well, this makes me wonder now too, because if it's basically like a portable PC, and if Switch emulation is good, what's going to stop people from using the Steam Deck from emulating Switch games? Like, would that even be possible? If it's going to have like an operating system, like a Windows type of thing on it, I see no reason why you couldn't.
Speaking of the Steam Deck, actually, I forgot to mention it. It's supposed to run. It says it's going to run a new version of Steam OS, which is Valve's Linux-based operating system. Though you'll be able to play Windows games that don't have official Linux support using Valve's compatibility tech, or uninstall Steam OS and just install Windows. That is actually pretty damn cool. Like, you'll be able to install Windows, like a home, like a portable version of Windows. I think that's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and if you can do that, you could for sure get an emulator on there. I'm confident of that.
I'm sure someone's going to figure out a way to do it. It might not be one of the easiest things to do, perhaps, but someone's going to figure it out. Since they're already saying you can uninstall it and install the Windows.
Yeah. Like people might just wind up using it as like an unorthodox, like pretty solid emulation rig.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of expensive to use it for that, but hell. Yeah.
Well, if you're getting one anyway, I guess would be more like to do it on top of all of that.
Yeah, it's like another option you have to use it for. And it's, I mean, so that means I'm sure it's going to have a web browser and it's going to have like all that other stuff. That's pretty impressive, honestly. I feel like this is something that could have been out already, but,
they just
better late than never.
Think of it or just didn't, whatever, but yeah. Like, I have no objection to anything to make Nintendo sweat a little bit.
Yeah, man,
like, it's not the
crazy.
same. It's not exactly the same thing, but like, it's pretty big deal for them to be releasing a handheld.
Yeah, I mean, let me see. Apparently, the CPU is going to be an AMD Zen 2. The core count is going to be a 4-core, 8 threads. CPU clock speed says 2.4 to 3.5 gigahertz.
Okay.
The GPU is going to be an AMD RDNA2. Going to have 8 GPU compute units. The GPU clock speed is going to be 1 to 1.6 gigahertz. And then, of course, I said the RAM is going to be 16.
Mm-hmm.
And the storage. The display size, it says, is a 7-inch LCD touchscreen. And the resolution is going to be 1280 by 800. Okay. Refresh rate, 60 hertz, of course.
Yeah.
Audio, it's going to have a 3.5 millimeter jack, dual mics, and USB-C type. And, of course, it's going to have Bluetooth. And it's going to have, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB. Okay, all that stuff. All right, that's cool. That's cool. And 40 watts per hour. WHR, I guess it's watts per hour. Batteries. All right, that's nice. And it's going to be approximately 1.47 pounds. AMD and their like CPUs and GPUs really. Like I don't know how advanced that like core is going to be, but I mean, because I've never been that much of like a really PC gamer.
Right.
But hell, like I said, if they're making it, I'm sure it's going to be able to run. It hopefully would run all the games on Steam well, because that's its like main point of having it. Really,
like you got to make sure it's like I feel like the baseline would have to be like a Call of Duty type of thing, like something beefy. So got to run decently on it, or else like what are you doing?
Yeah, seriously. I think it will. I mean, you'd have to look up some games that like what their requirements are, and then compare it to what the Steam Deck is going to have. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure if they're making this and it's supposed to be out, this year or really I guess next year with how many sales they're going to have already, hopefully they know what they're doing.
It should be able to handle, like
this is good.
Everything except like Cyberpunk.
Oh man, nothing can run Cyberpunk. Freaking like, oh, that game was a freaking mess. But yeah, hopefully,
really.
I gotta see what the reviews are gonna be.
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna be
before I like dabble into one, and I'm still playing Switch games still.
Oh, like unless I just happen across like a used one for pretty cheap, I can't see myself getting one. But I'm definitely interested to see what kind of splash it'll make and. Like how it's going to progress. Like, are they going to release new versions every little while as PC games just use more and more resources? Like you might be able to get a base model Steam Deck in a couple of years for kind of cheap.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Time will tell.
Like since right now the 3 models that they've spoken on, the only difference or the main difference is really just the storage. Everything else seems like it's going to be the same. But, I mean, yeah, what are they going to do when, because it's PC games. So they're constantly, like, upgrading, like, every 2 years or whatever, or something like that.
The turnaround
around there.
Is lightning fast.
3, 4, something like that, basically. So I'm like, is this Steam Deck going to be robust enough to really play everything that's already out, as well as new and upcoming games that are released, like that are in the works to be released from the next 2, 3, 4 years from now, also.
Right.
And run them like without, being extremely slow and glitched and bugged and lagging and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Also, it's gonna. I mean, I guess it's gonna be 720, but. I also wonder how people are going to feel about that, it not being 1080.
Right. I mean, for me,
that's
like 720
standard
fine,
now,
but
full HD.
It's 1080 is definitely the standard these days.
Exactly. I mean, and also, not like heavily, but 4K is becoming the thing, especially now with the new consoles released.
And frame
rate,
people like how much frame rate is this thing going to pump out? Like, I can't imagine it's going to be more than like 30.
I mean, it didn't really specify a frame rate. I think that it's probably going to be 60 FPS max. I can't imagine it being more. but it probably also depends on the games, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's probably why they didn't mention it, really. But I am curious, definitely, to see what they're going to do with it. When people when the customers actually get their hands on it, which will probably be, the earliest is going to be December. But a lot of people won't probably get theirs till the beginning of next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see what the reviews are going to be.
I mean, so long as it doesn't need to be like a god machine. It just needs to be good enough. Just curious.
Oh, definitely.
If it will.
I'm not expecting it to be the best gaming system ever.
No, I would think if I spent, that kind of money on a PC, that the PC would get more juice out of it. But
well, it also depends. I mean, that first model is not too expensive at all. What was it? $399. Oh, I thought it was less. But $399 for the 64 gigabyte version one, I feel like I wouldn't even get that one.
I mean, if all the other stats are the same, it's just the storage that's different. I mean, that sounds okay.
It depends. I mean, since you can put a SD card in it, then maybe that would work. Since that seems like that is the only difference. Let me see. Okay, it says that the 64 gigabyte model is gonna. I don't really know what the hell this freaking tech jargon means when it comes to the freaking speeds. It says the 512 gigabyte model is gonna have a NVMe SSD, which allows for bandwidth upwards of 3,000 megabytes per second. I'm like,
I don't know what the hell that means. It's supposed to be fast, so I don't know.
I'm like, I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm sure that means it's very fast. And it says the 64 gigabyte model, it says it's built using an eMMC drive, which won't match an NVMe SSD in terms of speed. So it's not going to be as quick, the 64 gigabyte model, compared to the other two, it seems.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's talking about in terms of how fast it will download games and things of that nature, or some speed regarding something else. All this tech stuff is not my expertise, but I'm sure someone listening probably knows about that. And hell, if you do, please explain it to me. I'm freaking all ears. All I know is that basically the more expensive one they're saying is going to be faster in some way. So, hey, you know your budget. I mean, but $690. Did they say it was $699 for the 512? $649.
I mean, somewhere around
that's no, yeah, $649 for the 512, $529 for the 256 gigabyte, and that's kind of expensive. $649 is more than my PS5 cost after tax, and even adding on a game in there too.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, some people will buy it, so I mean, it's good to have the option there if you do want, the little extra horsepower.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure every model of it is going to sell out,
Yeah.
I agree. Hell. But it makes sense though. I don't understand. I mean, I don't blame them. I'm glad that they're actually making different models too, different versions that have
rather than a one size fits most.
Yeah, exactly. Approach. It's like we just spoke about with Nintendo and options.
Yeah.
Having three choices, but I feel do you think it's better off that they're going to have the same specs except for the size, or do you think that the different prices should have different changes also besides just storage, rather?
I would think if you're going to pay the extra, I can't imagine the price increase is solely storage. They probably could have beefed them up a bit more at the same price point.
Because that's $100 some odd dollars difference,
the base model should be able to at least competently play anything that's currently on Steam. It's just a matter of do you want more frames? Do you want higher resolution? All the bells and whistles.
Yeah, because I mean they also gotta be careful with their pricing because one of the things that I feel like Valve really touts is that, people always say, you hear it all the time. Steam always has games on sale. If you get games on Steam, they constantly have sales. Like every day they have sales. You can get games cheaper there than you would on Nintendo or on PlayStation and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
like they've been,
Nintendo.
Applauded for their good sale prices for games. And I've looked on the Steam store every so often and I've seen what they mean. I bought a few games there. I'm just not really that much of a PC gamer. I prefer a controller than keyboard and mouse. But I mean, they always have good sales, and that's something that they're applauded for. So I feel like when it comes to the Steam Deck, they should probably do the same thing and consider affordability if they're not. Because that's one of the reasons people flock to PC gaming is for affordability. They say it's cheap, more affordable than console gaming. You know,
because like chances are in this day and age, you probably already have a computer. So like
exactly.
So with a console, it's like then you need the console plus the games instead of like just the games. And unless you're like crazy about Nintendo, you may as well just use Steam.
Exactly, because almost everybody has a PC, whether that's a laptop or a desktop. So and it has more functionality because I mean look at all the different purposes it has: work, school, especially people working from home. Going to school online now too, especially in the past 2 years or so, that's become much more common of a thing. And then also, I mean, look at it, you could do stuff like this. I mean, with a PC, so it just has way too many purposes. So 99% of people are going to have a PC rather than a console. I have one friend actually who does not have like a PC at all. He just has his console and like his phone. But most people I know, if they have one or the other, it's mostly they have a freaking PC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a laptop of some sort. Like exactly. I know someone that has like freaking 3 laptops or whatever, but they don't have a gaming console at all. You know what I mean? But I mean they're not really a big video gamer or whatever, but like for example. So it's like, if you want to get your games cheaper for something you already probably have in your house, probably already have 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Like every family household has like multiple PCs, and at this point it feels like, like we have like 3 of them. So it's like, why not turn to Steam?
Yeah.
But the Steam Deck might change things. I have it's funny because speaking of the Steam Deck, they came out with something a while ago. I forgot what it was called, but I bought one and like I never really used it. Trying to find a freaking name. Do you remember it? It was the Steam
Machine.
Oh, the Steam Link.
Oh, I have no idea.
That was it. The Steam Valve or whatever came out with the Steam Link, and I actually made like a whole video like unboxing it on my channel and whatnot. You can check it out. But basically, it lets you It came out like 2015 or something like that, and it was supposed to basically let you play your Steam games on your TV. Like I think you would connect like the little Steam Link to like your TV and connect it to your PC, and then it basically kind of worked like, how the Vita has remote play, where you can play PS4 games on your Vita. You just need to link them up by like Wi-Fi. The Steam Link basically worked the same way, so you could play your Steam games. It would stream the Steam games over to your TV, and you could play like that. It was actually interesting. I just really never used it, but I did buy one. Like it's pretty cool. I have it in my freaking closet, like collecting dust.
No, I never.
But I feel like I should use it at some point. It was actually pretty interesting, kind of like a PlayStation TV, But I don't know. It's nuts. All these things they come out with. Who would have thought that after the Steam Link they would come out with a Steam Deck like 6 years later or whatever?
That kind of came out of nowhere. Anyway, I felt.
Definitely, I was quite surprised. I don't know. Hopefully, this changes up things a little bit and causes for some more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, competition. Is healthy.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, it stifles It stifles creativity. I feel like when you have everybody like there's one company doing everything.
Right.
Especially price wise.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Lexus. Yeah, they have an iPad app Yeah, I heard they don't use like. I just found out apparently they discontinued the hardware. Actually, it's right there in my freaking closet. I'm gonna show you exactly what it looks like. It's the freaking Steam Link. It's already discontinued, so I guess mine is like. Did I still have it?
So it's been discontinued. So like, does that mean you can't use it, or they just don't? They just stopped selling them. So they stopped selling the physical, like the Steam links. You're saying, like discontinued?
Yeah,
or
the
like
actual like Steam.
Yeah. Okay.
No, the actual like Steam Link hardware. Now apparently they have a software, like they have an app for it, like for tablets and stuff. This is the Steam Link.
Oh, okay.
It has like USB ports, as you can see, the USB port, Ethernet port, and power cable. What's this? The HDMI port. So you basically plug it. I think you plug it from your PC with the HDMI. Plug it into like a TV. Plug in your Ethernet cable, you know, if you want, and then of course a USB port. And I think you could like even use I think you could use freaking a PlayStation controller or Xbox controller with. I think
probably
I freaking
USB.
Forgot. Yeah, it has the 2 USB ports, so I think it does. Oh yeah, support for the following: Steam controller, DualShock, Xbox One, Xbox 360, all that stuff. Nice. I can't believe it's been discontinued already, though. I never really got a chance to use it.
Yeah,
so, well, no, I'm sure it still works, though. They just stopped selling it. Probably. I'm guessing is what they mean. I can't imagine they just discontinued it being able to even be used.
No, I agree.
I should test it out one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came with I think it came with everything it needed too. And it wasn't even expensive. It was actually pretty inexpensive. That's why I bought one when I first heard about it.
How much?
I felt like that was gonna make me I think it was like $50 on release. It was not expensive at all.
Oh, that's not crazy.
You know, only thing is this didn't run the game though. Like the game was still running from the PC.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to have a PC that was still capable of running everything. But, oh man, yeah, I still have all the freaking cables and everything that it came with to like plug it up and everything. I just never used it. Good old Steam Link. Knew you well, or not really, because I never used you, but still. But now that they have an app for it, I'm like, damn. I feel so old having like physical hardware.
Yeah, back in my day, we played our games on these things called consoles.
Oh man,
little Jimmy.
Console? What's a console?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I have a smartphone, an iPad, VR.
Yeah.
Like 10 years later, it's gonna be like smartphones. The freaking hell, we have the name up some random like freaking new hardware that they never heard of. It's just gonna digitally. It's gonna freaking put the game directly into your brain.
Right. Yeah.
Like all you gotta do is just buy this device. Yeah. And like Sword Art Online, you just put the helmet on, you just live that.
You're there.
Like, I'm playing Metroid live. It's like, what the hell?
Some games would be that terrifying to be playing in first person. Like just
man.
fairly benign games otherwise.
I wouldn't want to play Call of Duty. You're gonna have like PTSD.
Yeah, no kidding.
Doing team deathmatch or something.
Yeah. Play some Dark Souls, first person.
Oh man, any FPS would be nightmare fuel, or what's it? Or like freaking like something like Dead Space, you know? Yeah. Like some kind of sci-fi horror thing. Yeah. Like
maybe like a Silent Hill game.
Oh jeez. Oh my god. I can't imagine.
I'm intrigued by the potential of VR. I thought VR was gonna like pop off and have like that must-have game on it by just kind of seemed like it's making some ground and it's sort of.
I think there's too many people that have. I think it's either too many people are having like side effects. I think it's a lack of games for it, or people are just having too many side effects and don't want to play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like with the motion sickness is rough. Like if you that's an issue.
Yeah, I don't even want to get on a freaking bus, plane, train, car. You know what I mean? So I definitely don't think I'll be doing VR anytime soon.
Gotcha.
And also, you need space for that. Like, I couldn't play VR like right here in my freaking right here, right? Like, don't you be able to move and stuff like that?
Depending on the game, you'd need to be able to move around, somewhat, anyways.
Yeah, I just don't have like living space for that right now, even if I wanted to, because of my small confined area. Maybe it's something I would test when I move. When I have like more space, I'd be like, all right, cool, let me try it out. Because my friend tried it. He has one. He's played it like a bunch of times. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's like a good workout too, with all the movement you get in, and that's always good. I'm a firm believer that you need to freaking exercise. You need to go for a walk, a jog, whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good way.
I mean, exercise wherever, but like
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like I used to go on the treadmill and try to walk. You're inside still, but you're still walking. So you know what I mean? It'll save your freaking life.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's important to at least get a little, even if it's just like get up, walk around your your building, and go back and sit down. Like do something active.
Exactly.
It's important. But yeah.
Man.
I played VR a couple of times, and like I think I tried like a Hitman game on VR. All I remember about it was I was like behind like this desk, and I tried to lean on it, but it didn't exist, so I almost fell over. It was disorienting.
Wow.
I'm like thinking, all right, I'll lean on this, and then I'll shoot the bad guys, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's not really in front of me. It's disorienting. I also played Beat Saber one time.
Yeah.
It's basically, I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's basically like Guitar Hero, but like with a lightsaber. VR.
Oh yeah, that's my friend. When I was talking to him, he said that's the game he actually was playing with Beat Saber. I didn't know what it was until he told me. It's kind of like a rhythm game, right?
Yep. I could see myself getting totally hooked on it, but I didn't have my own VR, so I never did.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I can't justify the price tag for a VR just because I don't think I'd use it enough. I like the idea of like doing a stream with VR, but that's a long ways away if I ever do it.
Actually, speaking of the Steam Link and the Steam Deck, did you ever hear about the Steam Machine?
I heard about it, but it didn't seem to do that great.
Because the Steam Machine and the Steam Machine and the Steam Link actually, I believe, released the same time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But the Steam Link was cheaper because you just had to connect it to your own PC you already had.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just kind of acted, I guess, as an intermediary device or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the Steam Machine was actually like a freaking, like, kind of like a PC. Came with a Steam controller. Like, they name everything after Steam, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it came with a Steam controller and all that stuff. So you can actually play Steam games without having a PC, basically.
Right.
You know, like it acted as the PC itself, so you could just connect it to your TV, like a video, like a console, like the PlayStation or whatever. But apparently I think those got discontinued as well, maybe.
I think it was
I don't know if they still make them.
I think they were a little redundant. Like if
it was
you
for
don't
people
have
that
a
wanted to
computer,
just
like
game.
why are you going to get a Steam machine rather than like just get a computer?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it was for people that didn't have a freaking PC but wanted to play games. You know what I mean? On Steam.
Yeah.
But I'm like thinking, like, how many people is that exactly? You know?
Right. Can't be that.
Like, apparently, and there was different models, like, too, like. And I'm just like, okay, now you're making it confusing because it's basically like PC. They have different specifications. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, so you had to buy one of the more expensive ones if you want to play Call of Duty. But if you just want to play like freaking Sonic from 1999, then you can get like one of the cheaper ones. You know, like one of the reasons people flock to console, those that are not like in the know and whatnot, is because it's much simpler and a streamlined process. You know, you don't want to have to worry about, well, hey, what the specifications I need for what game. You know,
Yeah.
you got to make it simpler so you can have more customers. If this is correct, I'm reading like right now. It said that the Steam machine sold like, I don't know, not even like 1 million like
I'm not surprised.
units. I'm like, that's not really that good considering it
No.
released in 2015.
And how massive Steam is.
Very much so, you know.
But like I think, you know, if hindsight being foresight, if they should have tried to release something like the Steam Deck then rather than like a console.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they didn't have the. I mean, I couldn't imagine they didn't have the wherewithal or the thought to actually try or whatever. But yeah, they could have released this years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, back when the Switch came out or before the Switch. Maybe they think because the Vita like kind of flopped or whatever they say. Maybe since Nintendo was the only ones that were doing pretty good, you know, with the 3DS, the DS, the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy, and now the Switch. Maybe they just didn't feel like, maybe they either felt like they couldn't or they weren't ready to, you know, get in there. Who knows? But I'm sure this was something that was in process for a few years now, since it's releasing apparently this year or next year.
Yeah, it must have been. It was probably like shortly after the machine. They're like, wait a second. And then just tried to figure out the logistics of it. And I'm sure COVID pushed stuff back.
That too. Actually, yeah. The pandemic might have slowed it up in a bit, you know. I mean, that did delay the launch of a lot of movies, games. I mean, I feel like everything that gets delayed, I feel like they partially at least chalk it up to that. Sometimes to where the point is like, is this really that believable now? Like everything is getting delayed because of it.
Well, I mean, it's an excuse for everything. Because, like, yeah, I believe it for.
But it's not like stuff didn't get delayed beforehand.
Right.
Like video games have been getting delayed for freaking like years. That's nothing
as old
new.
As time
you know
itself.
what I mean? Yeah. Especially feel like, I don't know if it's just something we notice more, but I feel like especially this most previous generation of video gaming, I feel like that one had a lot of delays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the PS4, that era.
Yeah, delays, and then they'll release games that aren't even completely finished, and they'll just, you know, they're basically releasing an open beta, and then they're like, okay, game's fully done now. Pay full price for it now, though, anyway.
It's ridiculous. He had a glitched game on sale. It's annoying.
Yeah, like just that kind of stuff would have never happened before, you know, all the internet stuff. Like if you release a game and it's busted, it's just busted. Now it's like, oh, I can release this, you know, buggy piece of crap, and if there's enough of a stink about it, we'll fix it. It's even worse.
Exactly. I was like, oh, we fix it later.
Yeah. Like the whole Cyberpunk debacle.
Oh hell, Cyberpunk! I feel like can you name a game that got more hated because of it being released bugged than Cyberpunk?
No,
I can't think of one. Like
really,
that
game was so like anticipated for years and years. And then it comes out and it's so buggy. It was ambitious but buggy.
The first time I ever heard about it was like I feel like a few months before it released.
Me too. Know? But like some people were jonesing for it for like years and years.
You know, I had multiple people telling me like, "Oh, I'm going to get it," and I'm just like, "I never heard about it, but good luck. Let me know how it is." And then it comes out, and I'm just like, "Okay, I'm glad I didn't pre-order it or anything like that."
And like I know they're under a lot of
pressure. It's risky to pre-order games nowadays.
To like get it released when it was released, but it definitely needed more time in the incubator. Even if it meant not being released on like PS4 and like Xbox One and stuff. Like it just, what a mess. And it looked kind of interesting to me. I just didn't. Then I found out how buggy it was, and it's like, well, I'm not even going to bother trying it. If I do try it, it'll be long time from now. On something that can actually make it work.
For real.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how the Steam Deck will pan out. Did I lose you?
Huh? No, I was just thinking, I think I will get I want to see the first, like, consumer review, not, like, like GameSpot or whatever,
right.
but, like, the first person, like, legit that has a Steam Deck that just uses it, I want to see. Because I'm just thinking of what games would I play on it that I can't just go play on my PlayStation or my Switch?
Yeah.
Or... I mean, there's a few. But there's not that many games that are PC exclusive. Like, it reminds me of the time when I used to play StarCraft. StarCraft is one of the only games that is, like, PC exclusive for the most part, or Part 2 is
worth playing,
and that PC, I really wanted.
Because there was StarCraft 64, but it was garbage.
Yeah, like StarCraft and StarCraft 2 were great, but how many other games are PC exclusive that I really want? I mean, that I feel like, oh, I have to play it. Most of them get ported from PC to PlayStation or vice versa. So
yeah,
like, if anything, PC is good if you want to play like the uncensored games. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because the three major consoles, the home consoles, they can't make A-rated games.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And a lot of
places
won't carry them.
Exactly. No place basically will carry them. Like, honestly, so they're not allowed. Like.
Right.
So they have to censor it down to a certain extent to where it's acceptable,
Yeah.
But PC does not have that limitation when it comes to basically like anything of that sort, as long as it's not like illegal, obviously.
Right.
But like the visual novels that are based on like hentai games, for example, those aren't going to be censored on PC. Any of the risque kind of games and whatnot. So that's pretty actually cool. But if you're not playing that stuff, I mean, what else is really like, oh, I have to get it? I'm right now I'm thinking, oh, what would I play? I'm like, I'd go play Sonic. But I'm like, if I want to, I can emulate that and play it right now. You know what I mean? Or, so it's like, yeah. I'm also trying to think about where would I play it at?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have games on Steam, like a whole Steam account and everything like that already?
Oh yeah, I forget when, but there was one year I went on like a total Steam bender, and I bought like so many just like crappy little like indie RPGs. I hadn't played many of them, but I must have at least 100 games on my Steam account. But it'd be like, oh, this one's 14 cents, I'll buy it. Like, it's stuff like that.
That's kind of the thing sometimes, honestly. I mean, the games sometimes get so cheap that it's just like, well, why the hell would I not get them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, hell, this is sale. Games are for $2. It's like, all right, let me get it. I have a few games like on PlayStation or whatever and on like Steam just because of how like cheap they've been.
Right.
So the Steam Deck, part of the thing is I'm not always comfortable being at my PC like all day. So the Steam Deck might be useful in that regard.
Yeah, if you're on the go.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Or in bed, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
anything like that.
Yeah. Just not locked in front of your computer. Yes, indeed.
I don't know. We're going to have to... Basically, we're going to have to wait and see. But it's going to be damn soon. With the Steam Deck out in December and the Nintendo Switch OLED out in October. Honestly, it's just a matter of time. I mean, all the pre-orders have been up already. People have basically made it sold out. So, hell yeah, this is going to be like more of something that at that point, once reviews come out and people get their hands on it, then we can come back to those topics and see how it really goes.
Yeah,
you know what
see
I mean?
how it all pans out then. Do like a follow-up
and how it sells.
episode.
Oh, hell yeah, definitely. But I think I'm going to leave it with the Switch by saying anyone who doesn't have the freaking original model or the Lite or anything, if you can afford the OLED, get it, because all those differences that I named off already, you add it all up, and I feel like it is worth like the $50 increase.
Yeah, like if you're going to spend that much money to get a Switch anyway, you may as well pay the little extra and get all of it.
Yeah, if you're going to get this, if you're going to get the Lite for $200 or whatever, or the Switch for $300,
yeah,
you might as well get the new model. I don't know what they're going to call it exactly. I don't know if it's just going to be called like Nintendo Switch. I feel like I don't like when they do stuff like that because it makes it more confusing once again for the, like the parent that doesn't know about video gaming and needs to get something for the child, or like the more elderly person or whatever that might be buying it and don't know. At least with the PlayStation 4, they had the Pro and the Slim, so it was a little bit easier to tell and explain those differences to people. But I feel like with Switch, then they made the Lite, which is fair. It's very simple. This is the Lite model. But now it's going to be... And then they made the improved model with the battery life was better, which the only difference was the actual box had a different design and on it. But now they're making the Switch OLED. I'm like, is that what it's going to be called in stores when you go to it?
Probably.
But hopefully people don't get confused and buy the wrong one, because that's something that's bound to happen, and that's happened with plenty of other things. How many times do you see a post like, I bought the wrong model for my child, and then it's just like you're just face palming dude, I feel like you should have did some research or something.
Right. Yeah. I don't know why they went so scientific with the naming conventions, because they already have the Switch Pro controller. Why isn't it just the Switch Pro? Is it
exactly,
just
especially
because, the couple of the screen update and what the storage update, isn't that pretty well, and the Ethernet, there is improvements to it, so that I think they could get away with calling it Switch Pro, but
yeah, I mean that was the rumor, is that they were going to make a Switch Pro. It was going to be called Nintendo Switch Pro or whatever. Remember how many? There's been multiple articles and whatnot written about it. So I was surprised that they're not calling it that. I mean, but I guess they feel like there's not enough changes to call it a Pro. But I mean, look at the PlayStation 4 Pro. What was the main difference? They had a bigger size sort of hard drive, and it was able to run games at 60 FPS, more games at 60 FPS, and it had 4K.
Yeah, I think that's...
what other differences did it have, really?
I think that's it, but I don't really know.
It was bigger. It freaking weighed
bigger.
more. That damn thing was freaking heavier than the regular PS4.
Basically,
the PS5 is
the equivalent of a burger and a double burger. The PS4 Pro is a double burger.
Exactly. It's just more. I feel like there should be more substantial changes when they're going to do stuff like this, especially when they're going to wait 2, 3, 4 years in between. Or I feel like make some more substantial changes. You know what I mean? Make it really worth it, especially when it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
And
the PlayStation 5 is the size of a manhole cover.
The PlayStation is the size of what?
The PS5, they're huge. It's as big as a manhole cover.
The PS5 is heavy. I hate having to... When I have to bring that with me somewhere, Yeah. Because I've had to bring it back and forth sometimes to places when I'm using it, or when I'm traveling or whatever. Oh, man, that is a freaking hassle. I don't like it at all, because it's... I'm going to look up the weight of it right now. What is the freaking PS5 weight?
I haven't picked one up, but they're chunky.
The disc model, it says... Okay, the new PS5 model is now 0.7 pounds lighter for some reason, apparently. But the PS5...
Yeah, okay.
Apparently the disc model weighs 9.9 pounds.
I'm surprised it's only 10 pounds.
10 pounds is... it's not crazy, but for a freaking console, I feel like that's really,
I mean, not that I've weighed my consoles, but I can't imagine my PS4 be 10 pounds.
Do you have the Pro?
No, just regularly.
I'm looking at the PS4 consoles, the different versions and their weight. Like, I know it's random, but I just really feel like the PS5 is too damn heavy.
Kind of curious now.
The PS4 Pro is 7.27 pounds.
Okay.
So let's say 7 pounds to 10 pounds is a substantial difference for a console.
Yeah.
Because the Slim, 4.62 pounds. Like,
that's more like it.
And the regular PlayStation 4 is 6.1 pounds, it says.
Oh, okay. So it's almost double the weight.
It's almost double. Yeah, it's over double the size of the PS4 Slim. And almost double the weight of the PS4, like, regular. Like, damn near. So that's pretty crazy. But, yeah, it's heavy. It's fine. And it takes up a lot of space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think speaking of which, I think it needs more freaking games. I mean, but that's another topic for another time. This is all about portables.
Yeah.
But damn, man. Steam Deck, Nintendo Switch OLED.
Mm-hmm.
The PlayStation rumor.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do there.
Be interesting.
Yeah, imagine now Microsoft ran in. I mean, hey, we got the Xbox portable.
Yeah. We're going to call it the Xbox 360, but it's spelled out like letters instead.
Oh.
Just because their naming conventions are garbage. Okay, we're going to have the Xbox, then the Xbox 360, but then we're going to have the Xbox One. But the first Xbox was the Xbox. No. This is the Xbox One. That was the Xbox. This is the Xbox One. Okay, what's the next one? Oh, the Xbox, Series X and S?
I was like, what's this? Didn't they say the Xbox One is called the Xbox One because it's supposed to be like number one or some stupid crap they came up with? Like,
I have no idea.
It's supposed to be the only one you need. It was some crap I read. I was like, what the hell they come? What the? I was like, what are they trying to? Like
awful.
I don't know what their naming convention was or what the thought process behind it. They need to explain that a little better.
I mean, if PlayStation wasn't already around and been like, okay, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if that wasn't a thing and they went from Xbox to 360 to 1, I might be able to be like, well, that's stupid, but okay.
Oh, wait, here it is. Microsoft marketed the device as an all-in-one entertainment system, hence the name Xbox One.
But if I'm looking for original Xbox games, my knee-jerk reaction would be to call it the Xbox One. Well, it would have been. But now they have the Xbox One. I mean, I don't really get 360, but I mean, at least it's different from Xbox.
I mean, the 360, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's the difference between like an American company, I guess you could say, and like the Japanese companies, maybe.
Maybe.
It's like Xbox is like 360 because it's like a circle. It's like, but it's not even built as a circle. It's like, but 360 degrees, so we're gonna encompass everything. Yeah. It's gonna do everything.
We're right back where we started. We went 360 degrees.
And then the Xbox One, they're like, this is the only one that you're going to need. It's going to be, once again, all-encompassing of entertainment system.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, okay, now the Xbox Series, because it's going to be a series of Xboxes. But it's like, but isn't it already a series? Because now this is the fourth one. It's like, what?
Uh-huh.
It's like, and then it's a Series X and the Series S.
Yeah, the two letters that couldn't sound any more alike.
Like, now that they're like purposely trying to make it more complicated for us. Like, do you want the Xbox? That's like a tongue twister. I don't even like saying it. Would you like the Xbox Series X or the Xbox Series S? I'm like, I have a list. Do you know how frustrating that is for me to keep saying that?
I bet.
It's like, I couldn't imagine working at GameStop and having to sell them. I'd be really frustrated.
That to a soccer mom? No, thank you.
Would your child, do you think they would like Xbox Series? Well, which one do you think? Well, the S is, and the X is for extra large. Just gonna explain it that way, so they understand.
Okay, so the X is like the beefier one. I have no idea.
No, the X. No, I mean the X is actually the bigger one.
Okay.
And the S is like the smaller one that's like that big or whatever, and the X is like. That's how I would probably explain it. Like S stands for small, and X stands for extra large. And that would probably be the best way to get it to like the elderly.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm like, well, one's bigger, one's smaller. I don't know the difference between them. I don't know. The only difference I know between the Xboxes is one's big and one's small. One's more expensive and one's not.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifications because I really never plan on getting one.
Is that like the PlayStation 5 equivalent to one being like digital only and one having physical media? Or is there more to it than that with the Xbox? Do you know?
No, that's the thing. I think the Xbox Series X and X actually have more differences than just there's, you know what I mean? Like PlayStation, they made it simple. One's digital, one is not. With the Xbox, they're like, one is like $500. What was it? One is like $400. One's like $250 or something.
Yeah.
So there's more differences than that for sure. Okay. I know it's completely off topic, but that got me interested now on what the differences actually are.
Yeah, I just kind of like I haven't been terribly interested in Xbox since the 360, so I'm mostly like a PlayStation guy.
Okay, I just pulled up a chart. 1 terabyte on the X and 512 on the S. Okay. They both have a SSD though. They both go up to 120 FPS, which I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Oh, holy crap.
The X has 12 teraflops of processing power, and the Xbox Series S has 4, which I don't know what the hell that means still.
That's
but
such a funny word, teraflop.
It sounds like something flop, like extra hard. Like, I don't even know. Yeah. Like, you teraflopped. You just failed.
Well, like, I think like floppy disk.
That too. The X can do 4K. The S can do 1440. The X can use Ultra HD 4K Blu-rays. The S has no disk drive.
Oh, okay.
And they both have up to 8K high dynamic range, apparently. And they both have the same like ports, the same internet speed, audio.
Okay.
Same wide Bluetooth. And then, of course, the size. One is shaped like a freaking... One is like twice as big, basically. I mean, they both look like freaking speakers. Like, honestly. Like, it's kind of weird. It looks like my subwoofer. And then, that's about it. One costs, I think, $400, and I think one's $250. Or something like that. You know? So and one's white, one's black.
Ooh.
But they're both sold out, I believe, to scalpers. So.
Yep. I'm glad I'm not the type of person that needs to have like one every console, or else I'd be really frustrated this generation.
I would. Oh man, if I wanted to, I'm still trying to figure out. I mean, when I look at the prices of the series, I just keep finding like the scalper prices. Like you can't even. I'm trying to see the original actual price of the damn thing, and it's all showing me like freaking like eBay. I'm like 927, 829, 897, 877. Like, are you serious? People are selling this thing for over 2 times as much as its cost. That's kind of like really sad.
Yeah.
$4.99 and $2.99 are the prices of it. Like retail prices, not scalper prices.
Right.
So that's kind of nuts. But yeah. Besides that, there's some other changes like different RAM sizes or whatever, whatnot. But yeah. Xbox has them beat. Microsoft has them beat with backwards compatibility, though.
Oh, they have That's any?
Xbox has backwards compatibility with Xbox One and Xbox 360.
Oh, cool.
So they go back further. And original Xbox. Xbox Series goes all the way to the first Xbox. Ah. PlayStation 5 just goes PS4 and stops.
That really annoys me because, like, it was kind of a revolutionary thing when PS2 came out, and they're like, yeah, you can play PS1 games on this. And even with, like, PS3, they're like, yeah, you can play PS1 and 2 games on this. Then all of a sudden, they're like... Sorry?
The PS3 played, like, the original PS3 played PS1 games?
The fat ones. I forget how it works. I think all PS3s can play PS1 games, but not PS2 games. It might be the other way around.
don't think they. No, I think only the original played PS2 games, but I didn't even know they played PS1 games. That's actually pretty freaking cool.
I know for sure some versions do.
Oh man, I would take. Damn, I wish I had an original PS3. The reason I didn't get it is because it was so expensive, though.
Yeah.
That's, I waited until they came out with like the Slim, and I got that one. But at first price, $600, a little bit too much.
I want to say the first generation ones could play PS1 and 2 games as well. And then sometime along the line, they removed one of them. But I have, PS2. So if I want to play PS1 games, or 2 games, it's not a problem anyway. So. Or like the physical ones I have already, I should say.
No, man. Portable or handheld gaming, I feel like looks like it's on a bit of an uptick. Yeah. Not counting like not counting like smartphones and tablets. I mean,
right.
But
that's a whole other.
Back to being actual dedicated handhelds.
Huge, a different entity.
No, I mean I'm just glad someone else is getting into it, even if it's Valve, who I don't really use Steam much. I'm like a lot of people seem like they're really hyped for it.
Yeah.
So
I'm into it.
But man. But freaking, what do you have coming up next, man? I know it's been a while. What have you been working on?
What am I even doing? So I just finished the Kakarot DLC. Sunday I'm gonna go back and finish the Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 DLC I didn't do. So I'm gonna do that at least Sunday. I don't know how long that'll take. Most of this week I don't even really know what I'm gonna play yet. I'm just gonna kind of mess around, but like the following week I'm gonna play Nier Automata again, but on hard mode.
I still didn't get around to Nier Automata or whatever. I mean, I didn't buy it yet because I bought Nier Replicant.
Yeah.
I still didn't get around to that one. I mean,
gotcha.
I bought it, but then I've been streaming Scarlet Nexus, and I beat. That game is freaking good. I said it before, but it's probably one of my favorite JRPGs of this year so far, without a doubt. Like that and Bravely Default 2.
Okay.
Everything else mostly was like a remake or a remaster. But I recommend Scarlet Nexus to anyone who really likes JRPGs with like action combat rather than turn-based. Mm-hmm. The combat is basically the number one thing. The music, the soundtrack is all right. The story is freaking confusing. Honestly, it really is. Like, time travel, psychic powers, freaking plot twists, lore. It's really good. But the combat is definitely like the number one thing about it. Using all the different psychic powers in combination with one another. It's actually really good, and I'd recommend it. Like, if you haven't played it yet, I recommend giving it a go. It's on the Xbox and on PlayStation and maybe PC too. I forgot. But I've been streaming that.
Like a video. Well, I mean, if you've been streaming it, then.
Oh no, definitely, yeah, man. I mean, there's two stories, and they obviously coincide with one another, but they vary, and their like styles of combat are different. I finished the first one. Now I have to finish with the other character to see things, obviously from their perspective, to fully put it all together.
Okay.
So I started theirs, which is basically New Game Plus. Whenever you finish one, you could just jump to the next one and carry over like all your stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm doing that. So I'm probably going to run through this one quicker since I'm like freaking over leveled for like the whole freaking first half of the game, if not longer. Gotcha. But that's what I've been streaming. And I've been playing Bravely Default 2 and Samurai Warriors 5, which actually released.
Oh yeah, that like just came out, didn't it?
About 3 weeks ago or something like that. Yeah. It came out during this whole break of ours, pretty much. I picked it up like a day or two after it came out, I think.
Right.
I've been playing that. And that is a whole reboot of the Samurai Warriors series, which is actually pretty fun as well. Because it basically comes from like where part 1 was, and like it streamed down like the amount of characters a little bit and focused more on like these few characters and their story in particular,
right.
And changed some things up, while carrying on the gameplay from like how it advanced from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and whatnot. you know. So it's nice. You could basically, if you haven't played the other ones, you could basically jump into 5.
Okay.
Because it takes it kind of like from the beginning again.
It's like a soft reboot.
You know. Kind of, yeah. And they redid like all the character designs.
Okay.
Too. So it's like a fresh new coat of paint on it as well. Only thing I'd say is like it's not too difficult, but I mean that always happens, I guess, with like the newer like warrior games. Unless you put it on like hard mode or nightmare mode or whatever,
right.
You could get through it without much complications at all. But I'm definitely enjoying playing it. I've been playing it for like past 2 weeks or so or something like that, and I'm like over halfway through it, so I'm gonna be finishing that up pretty soon. Right. That one I haven't been streaming though. But yeah, after that I got to get into Nier Replicant and
Curious what you'll think of it.
What's the other game I got? Oh crap, I don't remember. I think it was another game I bought. Oh, I want to get Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Me too.
I'm gonna get that one eventually. I played all the other ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 0. So I gotta play it.
I gotta dive into Yakuza at some point.
I'm gonna get that next after I finish like 2 or 3 of these games I have now, you know, and catch up a bit. Since there's not a lot of games coming out for the rest of the year. There's only 2 more games that I really wanted to get, I think, and that was like Metroid Dread. And maybe the Advance Wars remake of 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. You know, perhaps. And I think that was about it. Everything else got delayed or came out already.
Yeah, and like...
God of War and Horizon Forbidden West delayed.
Oh, yeah, they're being pushed back till next year.
Oh, yeah. There's not many more games to get, like new games coming out this year. So
like,
for the rest of the year, I'm going to be catching up on games that I haven't finished yet.
Like that reminds me, because like, have you ever played Axiom Verge? Do you know what that is?
I've heard of. Oh, I remember that game now. I was trying to remember which one it was.
Okay.
I've heard of it. I think I actually have it, but I haven't played it.
The only reason I bring that up is because I forget who I was talking to, but like I guess Axiom Verge 2 just kind of silently dropped like this week.
Yeah, apparently it did. I heard about it. I didn't know it was out already. I just checked.
Yeah, like it just came out.
Yeah, I have the first one.
The first one looks cool. I haven't played it myself, but I was
Did
surprised to hear it's like, oh, they dropped quickly, silently.
I haven't played the first one. It is a Metroidvania, though. I know that much. But the only Metroidvania I typically do like, I feel like, is Metroid itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least for me, I know a lot of people like Axiom Verge and other games like it. I played like one Castlevania game, and I never really played any of the other ones. It wasn't bad. I just never got into it. I don't remember. I have to.
Was it a PlayStation one?
No, I believe it was on the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
I think
so. It would have definitely been like Metroidvania style then, because some of the early Castlevanias are just kind of like straight side scrollers.
I think the one I played is. I think I played not Dawn. That's DS.
Harmony of Dissonance.
I think I played Circle of the Moon. I think that wasn't a Game Boy Advance. It was either that or Harmony of Dissonance. Yeah, one of those two. I think Circle of the Moon. Yeah. Like on a Game Boy Advance on an emulator or some crap. I really don't remember. They all like freaking damn near look the same to me.
Yeah.
It might have been Aria of Sorrow actually.
Okay. They're all
like that one.
Kind of the same deal.
Yeah,
like, Symphony
they're
of the
all
Night
very similar.
Was a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet.
I get the buzz around it, but oh my god, some of the secrets in that game you would never figure out on your own, ever.
I bet.
There's one in particular that just kind of blows my mind. Where like, I'll just spoil it because like you're not gonna figure this out. There's an area where like you can break into like this rock more or less, and you can walk through it and break through on the other side. One of the ways to unlock a secret room is you have to go in this particular like rock tunnel as I forget which, but like say you have to enter it as a bat and then change into a wolf and leave this part as a wolf, and then it will open a secret room.
What the hell is that?
It's like,
what is this? What is this convoluted nonsense?
Who would ever figure that out on their own? Because there's no monsters in there. You'd have no reason to be like, oh, I'm gonna be this specific transformation, go into this small spot in this one room, and then come out the other side as this other transformation, and oh, that unlocks something. So
I think that's one of those things. That's one of those things that are so convoluted that I don't even understand why the hell people are like, who put that in there, like, just for fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, as far as I'm aware, there's no in-game hints to even suggest you would do that anywhere. You're just supposed to somehow figure that out. Like, that one just stuck with me. Like, there's other ones that are, like, kind of obtuse, but that was the worst one. But someone in the chat, like, told me at least, so. But, like, oh my
crazy.
God. It was bad.
Games like, I remember playing Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission, and it just, like, crawling, like, every nook and cranny, using power bombs, freaking missiles everywhere, trying to get every single upgrade, and I never got all of them.
Yeah.
Like, that's just too much. Time-consuming. Unless you're using a guide, and even then it takes a while to actually just walk around and get to all of them in the first place, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, are there any games coming out soon that you were planning on getting? Because I think that was the last one for me outside of Metroid Dread, which is going to be out in October.
I mean, I want to nab the Mario Party remaster thing, whatever it is, when it comes out. Other than that, I don't really have like a game that's coming out this year that I'm hankering to play. I did, however, since PlayStation was having a summer sale, I bought Ni no Kuni 2 because it was 85% off. So I bought it for 12 Canadian dollars. Because I've heard good things about it. So I figured that I would grab it and eventually get around to playing it. But stuff for this year, I'm not really...
I feel you.
Not much else I'm really looking forward to.
I got pretty much all the ones I wanted to get, minus one or two remasters. There's like there's one or two remasters or remakes that I want to get. That was basically about it left that I have to pick up. And I'm most likely going to wait for them to be on sale because I still have like 5 or so games I'm trying to get through, which is going to take a minute. Because half of them are JRPGs, and we know how long that can freaking take.
Right.
Oh my God, man.
It's not months.
Yeah, especially if you're not playing every day or something like that. You know what I mean?
Some of them, even if you are playing every day.
Definitely. Especially if you're not using a guide. Actually, speaking of JRPGs, the game I was playing before Samurai Warriors 5, I was playing another JRPG that took me a little bit. Death End Request 2. The sequel, obviously, to Death End Request.
Never heard of it.
Death End Request is a kind of niche kind of title, like a JRPG. Mm-hmm. The first one was quite dark, to say the least. The second one is too, definitely. But the first one is one of the darkest games I've played, like, especially recently. Mm-hmm. Like, if you just look up some of, like, the actual, like... It plays, like, visual novel / JRPG, where there's a lot of, like, static images and dialogue and text to go through.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not, like, visually, like, just crazy, like a Dead Space or something like that, or Resident Evil. Mm-hmm. But, like, between the dialogue and the soundtrack backing it, the atmosphere... They do a good job of putting it all together to make it look like pretty crazy and like really just horrible. And then all the death ends where you get like a bad ending, and then they show you like an image of what happened.
Oh, okay.
It's just brutal. Part 2, they toned it down a lot. I don't really know why.
Okay.
But I mean, it is freaking nuts. I'm actually gonna like
Death and Request.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, the whole story is like, they even explain it freaking be nuts, but. It's similar to... You ever watch Sword Online?
No.
Do you know the premise of it?
Sort of.
It's like, you know, you go into the game and, you know, and all this stuff happens. Basically, Death End Request is very similar to that. You know, not to give away too much, but if you're looking for a JRPG and you like the whole ones like with a lot of text and dialogue and there's a crazy mystery around everything, I recommend that. I just finished part 2. Like, it came out last year, but I picked it up earlier this year. I just finished it like a few weeks ago, and it was freaking crazy. It really was, you know. But yeah, that's the other game I've been playing recently. I almost got Platinum Trophy on it, but I kind of stopped to go play something else. I might have to go back and later and get it. But besides that, I mean, hell, freaking my birthday was this week.
Oh, well, happy belated
That was
birthday.
something. Thank you. I didn't really do much, to be honest, but are probably like treat myself to like a new game or something like that, you know. Like,
why not?
Not much to really do between this freaking pandemic and just like,
right.
Hey, you know what I mean?
I hear you there. That Mario Party game is gonna be like my birthday present to myself.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna check it out. Like, I want to look at the reviews and see what people hear about it. And hell, like, when you get it, come back and you gotta tell everybody how it was. And
I'll have a. Well, I'm crazy about Mario Party too. So like that, there's gonna be representation from like all the Mario Party games in it, I think. But there's like, I think it's just Nintendo 64 boards. And, like, there's going to have Mario Party 2 mini-games in it, plus, like, the online play. I'm going to be pretty hyped on that I think I'm going to be hyped on that for a while.
Hell, man. Come back and give it a whole freaking review if you want.
Yeah.
If it's good, I might pick it up myself. You know what I mean? But, oh, man.
I'll keep you posted when it drops, because that's, like, a day one purchase for me.
Oh, definitely.
I forget when it comes out. I know it's October, but I'll worry more about when it comes out once we hit October.
Let me see, actually, real quick. It says
18th, 28th, something like that. I forget.
What's this one called again? I'm trying
Mario
to find
Party
it. There's too many.
Superstars, I want to say.
Mario Party. It gave me a whole different Mario Party game. Okay, Mario Party Superstars. October 29th, 2021.
29, okay.
All right, cool. I don't know. I haven't played Mario Party in about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think 5 is like the last one I played, or 4 or 5, something like that. So that was GameCube days.
I think I played them all up to 7, at least a little bit, but like I played so much of 2. Like, I used to play that with like 2 of my buddies almost like every weekend, on top of just what I played on my own.
It's good. I know that much.
Yeah.
But hey, this has been another Serenial podcast. It's been over a freaking month. I checked.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe like that long went by.
I mean, we were just kind of busy doing our stuff, but we're back for tonight. And we're gonna keep churning them out. It's
phrase.
Just, as much as we're able to. So.
It's the good old phrase, man. Life happens. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But we're basically back.
Oh, yeah.
Not that we were ever really gone per se.
No, but it's like you gotta
hopefully
wonder
there shouldn't
sometimes.
be any more
like, oh, you missed
interruptions.
a week, you missed 2
Hopefully.
weeks. Is it dead? It's like, no, it's not dead. We were just kind of doing other things.
Oh no, definitely. Serenial ain't dead.
No.
Sometimes it just takes breaks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's important to take breaks, and it's summertime, and enjoy the summer. Get out there.
Definitely to freaking refresh and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should probably get something to eat here and get myself all
Exactly.
sorted.
Me too. I'm about to go eat myself, I believe.
Yeah.
So once again, like always, guys, Harv, where can they catch you?
Yeah, if you want to catch me live or even catch some of my daily shorts content, catch me over on my YouTube channel at Megaharv, MEGAHARV.
Every day, another short.
Every day. I've excuse me, I've uploaded a short video every day this year. My goal is to have a short video for every day this year. And I mean, we're in August, so I haven't uploaded one yet. I'm going to probably do that tonight, but I just started Mega Man X series because I did Mega Man 1 through 11, beat as many of the Robot Masters as I could with the Buster, without getting hit, with a Guitar Hero controller. Now I'm seeing how much of that I can do in the X series. And so far, it has been challenging.
That's what's up. Man, a shorter day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, that's my hope.
Yep, hell, man. The YouTube doctors.
Yeah, and
for me,
where can we find you at, and what are you up to?
Oh man, the same as always. Like I said, I'm streaming freaking Scarlet Nexus, the second playthrough now with the other main character to see how that goes. After I finish that, I'm going to finish streaming Mass Effect 3 from the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Okay. I'm already about a quarter of the way through with that game. What's been taking me a while is because I'm actually doing all the DLC. I never played the Mass Effect 3 DLC really.
Gotcha.
I just played like the main game. So the DLC is my first. The DLC is my first run through, so I'm like learning as I go. Once I finish all the DLC, I'm just gonna probably just speed through the main game because I've already played it before. Right. But I'm gonna switch to Mass Effect 3 after I finish Scarlet Nexus all the way through, and then after Mass Effect 3, at that point I probably have switched to not sure yet, maybe Nier. Yeah. Maybe Nier. I'm thinking about it still.
I mean, I can't recommend Nier any more highly, but like whatever you're feeling.
At that point, it'll be probably like next month when I'm done with these two, streaming these two. So at that point, I'll see what games I have left.
Come up in the meantime.
Exactly. And besides that, I haven't been, in this time frame, I haven't been working too much on videos, to be honest. But very soon, I plan on getting right back into that. Kind of like the whole like freaking grind and hustle and, you know, life happens. Once again, a few personal things going on. But definitely want to be coming out with more videos on a regular basis very soon, in the next few weeks at the latest. So definitely look forward to that. On the channel, as usual, follow both channels, subscribe to both channels, and follow on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram. As always, all of them are linked to one another. You follow on one, the links to all the rest are right there. But generally speaking, Enigmatic Entertainment pretty much everywhere. YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a wrap.
Yes, indeed.
Well, thanks everyone for joining for another Serenial podcast. Hope to see you next time.